Hey y'all, it's Trent Knox with the Trent Knox Show. Today is January 12th. It's a Saturday, 2019. I'm currently out and about driving, doing deliveries, making some money in downtown Austin, Texas. As I'm driving southbound on I-35 across the bridge where the east and the west side of Riverside Bridge meet. I happen to look up and I see what has to be the funniest thing I've seen while doing this job for quite some time. It's a banner that says Infowars.com, free Alex Jones, and it also says Trump build that wall 2019. And you know what? I haven't really talked about this subject that much. And it's not something that's consistently on my mind. But it seems more and more so obviously because the government's been shut down since sometime in December, correct? Or correct me if I'm wrong, or November. That these individuals are clearly not getting paid, TSA agents, yada, yada, yada. And, it got people going around saying, certain type of things. You know what I mean? Or maybe you don't know what I mean, and you'll have to do the research as well as I did. But I've been, I run across this craziness, and I see, individuals up there, one with a PA, a speaker out there screaming his thing. I didn't get the chance to roll down my windows to hear what they were saying, but I imagine it was sort of alt-right rhetoric or something quite pretty close, far right for my standards, because I find myself to be more kind of in the middle, a moderate. I understand topics, and I kind of want to work for the best. And Austin is one of those places that is an ecosystem for a lot of different viewing points and new thoughts and developing who you are in a lot of ways. And it's quite different for a person who has grown up in the area their entire life to have known anything different than this constant back and forth between keeping Austin weird and keeping it conservative or keeping it liberal or whatever you want to call it. It's always been a place with a lot of controversy from both left, right, center, north, south, east, west. It's always been like that, but we've always been pretty cordial as far as it goes when it comes to coming to a conclusion as to what should be done for the greater good. I can't say that, causing a scene, and obstructing traffic is a good idea, but then again, you have billboards that are out here now with, promoting gay marriage and HIV testing, and all of these things are extremely contradictory to the right side of the way that people perceive they should live their lives, and it's controversial, especially living in a very religious state with a lot of different sorts of religions, even in the Austin area. But when we start branching out into the greater Austin areas and even into as far as Waco, San Antonio area, you get a vastly different political, spiritual view across the board. And you know what? That's not a bad thing at all. I'm not saying that it is. I think someone stalled out here on I-35. It's a matter of, okay, thank you. It's a matter of everyone's personal opinion. Now, I just got done watching today the Aubrey Marcus podcast where he's interviewing his polyamorous girlfriend, wife. I'm not exactly sure what it is, and a writer of some sort, and I'm just kind of referencing this. You can go out on YouTube and check it yourself. But he's an individual out here who has helped establish the Onnit Gym and the Onnit brand. I think he's the founder, correct me if I'm wrong. And he kind of spoke about these type of topics that don't necessarily vibe with the rest of with what's going on in Austin. And there seems to be a divide between the technocrats, the people who are, in that they're creating an intensified conversation. These individuals, whereas the locals or the people who live here and they just do their job and they're not entrepreneurial, they're intrapreneurial, these type of individuals, they're not gonna live with this type of rhetoric that's constantly discriminatory towards either the opposition or even the affirmative, because it's become to the point where people, even on your own team, are playing who's the bigger star on that team, and then who can make the most outlandish statement and get the most attention. It's an attention-based game. Politics, music, gaming, sports, whatever it is, because you want to be the person that is admired the most. And if you have to do that through trolling or being outlandish or causing conflict or creating a negative environment, you should definitely see the people who aren't doing that should definitely create consequences for those people that are making that happen. Though, in order for that to happen, we need to have a discourse amongst ourselves about there should be a golly, man, people here are just like, they don't even pay attention to other cars. But there has to be some sort of council to decide whether things are right or wrong. And I mean, we have that at the upper echelon of government, but as you can clearly see, we're dealing with a topic that is just belligerently dumb, because you've got Border Patrol agents that are seeing that there's a vast rise in criminal activity at the border, and they're requesting this safety precaution of adding materials to the wall that's already pre-existing. It's not like they're just going out there and building a brand new wall. I think it has to do with these individuals who have never been to the state of Texas or any sort of state that's connected to the Mexican border. They live outside of it, and they're thinking, well, what the fuck, you might as well just have these individuals, have an open border, because it doesn't bother me any. It doesn't bother me any just because someone's coming over and doing something, because it's not just, it becomes this thing of Mexico versus the United States. And that's not what it is. It's the Mexican border versus the United States border. That's what it is. It is a matter of many different issues. It's not just one. It's multiple issues, because individuals from a lot of different countries can come in through the Mexican border and infiltrate the geopolitical system and cause turmoil to the people that are protected by the tax money that they spend to have protection of their country. My country, our country, your country that you like to come visit when you're touring the United States and you want to feel safe if you are outside or you are a foreigner that is not a citizen of the United States. It just doesn't seem like everyone is on the same page when it comes to safety and the way that we should be concerned about these things. But I understand there is a lot of people out there that want to find a utopian state in which people can just be happy and be together. And a majority of people want that to be the case. The problem is there are a few bad apples, and those bad apples are why a border wall needs to be a discussion that happens and comes to a conclusion. Whether that's a decision to not build the wall, or a decision to build a less of a wall, or build a greater wall, because it's not about building a new wall that never existed. It's about extending the border wall. Like, it's so confusing, the language, as if, because people outside of the state of Texas don't realize that there's already a wall along the border. It just needs to be fortified to a greater extent, even though, as we say this, we have to go look back into history about walls and about the Great Wall of China and how that was ineffective in defending against the Mongolian Empire. But that being said, this is a vastly different topic that we're talking about than a, Bronze Era, or depending upon what section of each tribe that we're talking about in that era. When we talk about the Berlin Wall, when we talk about certain other things in history that would correspond with what the conversation is we are having now. It's just a continual discussion that we need to have, and it's going to continue until someone's family gets hurt. And it's when someone's family gets hurt, of course they're going to be like, these people over there, those people are the ones that have caused the conflict. And in doing that, that's when the individuals begin to be displaced and feel as though the people that they call their brethren, the citizens that they live with, not defending them. It seems to become more of a financial issue. And so we're stuck in this red versus blue state, but when we're really dealing with this red, blue, green, yellow, we have all these things, and we have a bunch of colorists being negative towards the issue. Anyway, I don't really have much. I have a lot to say about this, but I can't keep on going on and on and on. And I hope that this little bit right here is just an insightful comment on what we have going on currently in our political system. Anyway, have a good evening, and just a brief check-in. All right, take it easy.